everybody, it's Luke over at Galaxy Tech Review, and today I've got Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls on the Acer Predator Helios 300 with that GTX 1060. I know this is an older game, but I did get a few requests for this. You're going to see MSI Afterburner, of course, in the left-hand corner with GPU temperature, frames per second, CPU temperature and utilization, and system RAM usage. Let's take a look at our options. You're going to see that we're at 1080p, 60 hertz. Vertical sync is going to be left off so that you can see the true frame rate. Everything is set to high. And multi-sample 8x for the anti-aliasing, and of course SSAO is also enabled as well. So these are the highest settings that you can set with Diablo 3. So what I will do is I will launch a Nephilim Rift, not a cube, but Nephilim Rift, and you guys can check out the gameplay. This game actually averages about 100 frames a second. So at these settings, 1080p, you're going to be getting about 100 frames a second on this particular game. Depending on how much action is on the screen. As you can see right now, we're at about 120, 130, but that can dip in bigger instances all the way down into the high 80s. Again, it's going to average out to be at least 100 frames a second overall. This is just a seasonal character that I've been using, so there's really no official build on this. This is not about how fast I can do the Rift or anything like that. It's just to show you technically how well Diablo 3 will run on the Predator Helios 300. So, and it does. It runs great. You're looking at temperatures right now. You've got a pretty low temp of 66C on the GPU and 71C, 70C on the CPU. So it's really not taxing it too much. We'll do a recap on that at the end of the Rift here. Still averaging well over 120 frames per second at the moment, but there's really not a lot going on the screen at the moment. I'll try to get into some bigger groups so you guys can see the dips that it does go down to. But again, if you're using vertical sync and you're synced to the screen, you're going to get 60 frames per second solid on the highest settings possible all the way through with no problems whatsoever. We're almost averaging double that. So if you were to get a laptop that has a 120 hertz screen, you'd be pretty close to being able to be synced to that and be able to just play it at 120 frames per second all the time. Bar huge boss fights or battles where you've got 20 or 30 enemies on the screen at one time and that type of thing. The lowest I think I've seen it go down to in this run was about 83 frames per second. So overall, just a very smooth experience. I'll let you guys watch the rest of this Rift, and I'll check back at the end.
returning to town.
Excellent.
Glorious development.
So there you go. That's a Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls on the Acer Predator Helios 300 with that GTX 1060, and the GTX 1060 does a great job at maintaining 100 frames per second or more in Diablo 3 as an average. You're not going to have any problems playing this game whatsoever. Thermals held up pretty well, 69 degrees on the GPU, and you're floating right around 75 degrees with 29% utilization on the CPU. If we go back in and take a look at our options, again, we had 1080p. Vertical sync was off, so you guys could see the true frame rate there. Everything set to high. Multi-sample is 8 times, and SSAO was on. This was Luke from Galaxy Tech Review. If you have any other games you want to see on this laptop, leave them in the comment section below. Remember to like, and if you haven't done so, please subscribe because that always helps me out. And I'll check you guys out on the next video.